This is the People's Water Board Coalition Water Wednesday webcast for August 24th, 2022.
Welcome, 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 beloved community. We are back again with yet another installment of the People's Water Board Coalition's Water Wednesdays webcast. And today I'm doing it solo. My co-host couldn't be here, but thank our tech guy behind the scenes, Lou Novak. And today we have a special guest. You all might remember him coming on before. His name is Barry Rubin. He's a member of Detroit Jews for Justice, as well as the People's Water Board Coalition's membership. And we also, he has also done a lot of work throughout Oakland County dealing with the water issues there, as well as in Detroit. And we really, really appreciate him taking the time to come back on and do an update on what's going on in Oakland County so we can stay abreast of things. Thank you, Barry, for coming on. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So, last we heard, probably with the last time you were on with Dana, was that you were trying to get information about various water services in Oakland County, various cities such as Royal Oak Township, Pontiac, Oak Park, etc. Has there been any update on any of that going on moving forward?
Yes, there's been a lot. But first, I just wanted to say that I wanted to take a minute to thank all the members of the People's Water Board Oakland County Committee. We've had quite a bit of work has been done by those on the committee with me, the regulars, Diane Weckerly and Rondi Brower and Cash Charette. And then sometimes you've come on some meetings, and definitely Sylvia's been involved with us as well at times, Sylvia Orduno.
Yes.
And so I just want to thank all the tremendous amounts of input from all these people as they, are in the fight as well for water for all. There are several initiatives that we're still proceeding with in Oakland County, and I'll try and actually three main ones. So let me start with the biggest one, which is, of course, we go back to when the Water Resources Council of Oakland County, the Water Resources Commission of Oakland County won an award from EGLE, the state's environmental department, to the tune of $450,000 to be able to research and write a water affordability plan for two of the water utilities in Oakland County that Water Resources Commission operates, Pontiac and Royal Oak Township. Okay. And so it's been now about a year and a half that they have been working on the plan. And one of the things that happened originally, I will remind you, was Jim Nash established an advisory group so that he could have input and also he could get feedback as they advanced their research and began to put together their plan. The advisory group is made up of three groups: residents of Pontiac and Royal Oak Township, government officials, any government official who had Pontiac or Royal Oak Township as part of their where they were in office. And third of all, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, such as the People's Water Board. And it was in that vein that myself and Cass and Diane and Rondi have attended the meetings, over the, like I said, I believe it's last year and a half. At any rate, they are to the point of writing their main draft. In fact, they're going to present parts of it tomorrow at the August meeting. And we have had quite a bit of involvement because we were afraid at the beginning that what they were going to write, the plan they were going to come up with, even though it was going to be called affordability, was going to wind up being an assistance program. And we know that assistance is short-term. Assistance puts people oftentimes on plans that they can't afford, and we know that they're not successful. So we wanted to make sure that this was headed in the direction of water affordability, where people would pay based on their income.
Okay.
We held many meetings, even some meetings with Kelsey Cook, who's headed up the Water Resources Commission's research team. And we even brought in Roger Colton, who is a nationally known water expert, water affordability expert. And they took a lot of advice from him, as well as they did a lot of research looking at programs all around the country. What wound up happening is that, like Detroit, in order to get some funding for the program, they are going to be making use of GLEWA's RAP program, the Water Residential Affordability Program, in order to provide most of the discount for Rochelle got on, I guess, in order to provide most of the discount for to make water more affordable. Therefore, they are having a plan for anyone under 200% of the federal poverty level, with there will be, I believe, 3 different levels. And the lowest level will get somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 or more discount on their bills per month. The Water Resources Commission really wanted a program where everybody would pay this, where people would pay their same bill amount every month, so that they would know how much they were going to get. But what wound up happening is GLEWA would only agree to, the Great Lakes Water Authority would only agree to billing everybody according to what they use, but then applying a discount based on their income, 3 different tiers, depending on how much you made, so that they would they would get the same discount every month.
Okay.
Now, the program also is only good for 2 years for anybody that's involved. And they are looking, hopefully, to the idea that the state will eventually come in and provide a program. Hopefully, if the legislature changes over.
Okay. So with this tiered program, I noticed that you said that they were also saying that maybe they were trying to get it where everybody would pay the same amount every month. Which one do you think would have been better? Having them pay the same amount every month, knowing what to expect their bill is going to be each month, or this tiered program with the discount?
So both are tiered. I want to make that, I wasn't clear, but both are tiered. Okay. So what Water Resources Commission and Kelsey and her research team wound up with was the idea that, yes, there were 3 different tiers, starting going as high as 200% of the poverty level household income. There would be 3 different tiers, but the amount you paid each month would stay the same. Okay. So the lowest tier, let's say 50% of the poverty level and below, might only pay, $30 a month. Okay, but they would pay the same $30 every month, as opposed to this program that GLEWA is forcing on them, which says we bill you your whole water bill, but you get a tiered discount depending on how much money you have as household income. So the one with this, that gives you the same bill every month that you can count on, okay, so that you know how much money you have to set aside for water is the preferred bill. And Kelsey has said that they really, if they can get other ways to fund it, that's the direction they would go.
Okay.
And the program that they're talking about with people around the state is the idea, like, I guess there is a there is an electric and gas utility fund where $1 or $2 comes off of every gas or electric utility bill in the state and is put into a fund that is then distributed based on need around the state. The idea would be, if we could do the same thing with water utilities, we could build a fund that would then fund, having water affordability plans everywhere that needs it throughout the state. Now, that's our biggest thing that we're working on right now. In fact, Kelsey asked me to even edit the first draft, so I was fortunate enough to have input there. The biggest problem in the original document, it's no surprise, it's the use of the word assistance.
Yes.
It was used in 3 different ways, and so it gets very confusing. It was used to mean just generally giving help. It was used to mean short-term assistance, which is what I was talking about, where it's only for a short period of time and you get onto a payment plan, etc. And then it was also sometimes used as a synonym for affordability. And there it really gets confusing. So the other 2 projects that we are working on in Oakland County, Cass has been involved for a long while now in doing research into all the many of the water utilities in Oakland County and beyond, actually, but especially into Oakland County, to find out what their policies are on water bills and what they do if people don't pay their bills, etc. The 2 cities that seem to be experiencing the most problems, according to that, are Oak Park and Hazel Park in Oakland County. There are others beyond Oakland County, but those are the main ones in Oakland County. And so she's our expert in that area, and they've done now a lot of FOIAing to get information on a lot of different districts, because the calling and asking for information wasn't always working. The 3rd project is the one that Dana was involved in, and it's still not totally completed. And that was to try and get water stories from people who are water insecure in Oakland County. For many years, I don't have to tell you, the story was always, it's only a Detroit problem. And it's only, people who, would rather pay for their cell phones than pay for their water bills, that old thing. And after the CARES Act, of course, the different utilities that were water utilities that were using CARES money to pay people's water bills, they had to supply data to the state, to Eagle. And so we were able to find out that there are water problems throughout Oakland County and throughout the state, where people can't keep up with their water bills. And so that's when Sylvia made the suggestion, and we formed the Oakland Committee to try and build the alternative narrative. So, the true narrative, that it's not just a Detroit problem. And so Dana used some of the money. She got a grant from where she is now, the University of California, Santa Barbara, to take people's stories of people who are water insecure, in order that we may use the stories with their permission, but without their names, to tell the story of how the lack of water affects individual households. And Dana has been working, she had somebody who did the interviewing, and they're putting them together now, and it's going to be in a booklet, so that as we go out, as People's Water Board goes out and presents to various cities and other organizations the story of, why we say that shutoffs are terrible and that we want water affordability programs based on income, we can include some real stories with each presentation. And that's the purpose for having amassed those stories.
That's great. I think it's a vitally important piece, even wherever across the state, whether we have to do it for Oakland County. I know I've been working on a book that I want to put out about the water story in the water crisis in Detroit. I think this is vital that every community should have a platform, whether it's digital or a book or something, where they can showcase the stories from the directly impacted as to what's going on. So I think this project that Dana is working on is very vital. And I'm just asking all our viewers, I hope that if you know someone or if you have lived through a water shutoff in Oakland County, tell your story. You have nothing to be ashamed of. I've lived through a water shutoff before, and it's not your fault. The rates are unaffordable. The departments do not value the residents that they serve. So I ask that, if you have a story, tell your story. You get complete anonymity and the voices get out there and they get heard.
So one of the things that I wanted to say, and I want to give some credit to Kelsey and her research team and even Jim Nash in regards to, they really tried to get the voices of residents that are on this advisory group and officials and from nonprofits to try and understand it. And one of the places we gave them a lot of pushback, one of the sessions, one of the meetings was all about shutoffs. And there's still out there this idea that without the threat of shutoff, certain people are not going to pay their bills, and that's what eventually, leads a lot of people to pay their bill. It may work now, but what's that meaning for what that household's going to do that month for food, or what that household's going to do that month for their medications if they're paying off the full water bill or whatever as it's presently constituted. But one of the things that we pushed back on and that they have voiced and that they understand is that they didn't really know much about their clientele. They really did not know all that much about their customers. And they have listened to a lot of the stories, and they have listened, and they are really realizing how poorly they communicated with their customers, especially the ones that they threatened with shutoff. They would threaten them with shutoff in order to get them to come in and at least make some kind of payment plan. But they understand that they must do a better job of understanding what's going on and of communicating in a more timely and more complete and oftentimes different way. I mean, so that's one of the things that they have realized. And so shut off, instead of being, as they put it, instead of being, the thing, we know we're going to threaten shut off and that'll bring people in, they now are reorganizing their billing and everything and communication in order to only see that as an absolute last resort if people, absolutely are not signing up for the, for the new program, the new water affordability program, and only after trying many times. So that has changed. One other aspect I wanted to bring out about that goes on in Oakland County a lot, and that's this idea that at least once a year, the Water Resources Commissions, the utilities that it works with, once a year, if you wind up, at the end of the year with not, with a certain amount of water bill on water bills unpaid, okay, they have been involved in tax certification, which means that your bill rolls over onto property taxes. And it's the property tax of the homeowner, whether you're renting or whether you own the home.
Wow.
And that happens, throughout quite a few districts in Oakland County. And so, that then puts home ownership in jeopardy if the person can't work out a way that they can eventually have this paid off.
It actually creates a twofold problem, because if you're the homeowner and you're a landlord and it's rolling over onto you, that's unfair that you're punished for what your tenant is doing. And then that also means you're less likely to be a landlord, or either you go up on the rent tremendously to cover that cost that could happen, even though the person that you may put in your home after that may be paying their bill. So it creates a twofold issue.
So the other piece of this is, and you hit it spot on in terms of what it does to the landlords and cases as well. But the other thing is that the county, Oakland County, okay, will make whole the utility, paying it what is owed by the person that hasn't paid off their water bill.
Wow.
And they can do that because eventually they're going to get paid by the tax certification. They're going to get paid on the property taxes.
Wow.
Or if not, the property then would be put up for auction.
Wow.
So that money would come back to the county, and that's why they can guarantee the utility, the money that is owed.
Right.
I guess I have to give credit for the fact that here with the unaffordability, they are realizing that, we're not just talking about the health of the utility. They're really
Right.
looking at the health and well-being of their customers.
And that's a step in the right direction. It's not the full realm of what needs to be done, but it is a definite step in the right direction. Detroit, I hope you're listening.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. This whole period of time over which this water, the advisory group has existed, has really given the opportunity for the utility to be transparent in what it's going through and how it has been operating, as
Right.
well as they've been getting feedback now for a year and a half, okay, going into writing their plan, as opposed to Detroit, which like that came up with this plan, didn't run it by people, and now is implementing. So
right. And now they're backtracking, saying that they're going to hold public sessions to get feedback, but the plan has already been passed. So it's kind of a moot point. They're just doing this basically to keep people from complaining, which is not going to work.
just recently, the Water Resources Commission, with what they have already put together and shared with the advisory group, they held a session for Pontiac residents, and they held a separate session in Royal Oak Township with Royal Oak Township residents. Rondi attended the one in Royal Oak Township, and Diane in Pontiac. I guess there weren't as many people as were hoped for. But they may, and therefore they, and there were other issues that people were, regarding water in terms of, lead pipe replacement and all those
Yeah.
other issues came up as well. But they did make the attempt, to come face to face with even more people from the places.
I think that's a definite step in the right. Oh, what the hell? Oh, that's ooh. What the hell happened?
You're still live, Nicole.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I do apologize, viewers, for that technical issue. I don't know what happened. Maybe they're working on the Wi-Fi boxes in my neighborhood. But back to what you were saying.
Yes. So no, I was just closing up with the fact that they held those two public sessions in order to get further feedback on their presentations and what they've presented so far of the plans.
And before we close, I just want to be clear. The sessions that were held in Oakland County were held prior to them formulating and finalizing this plan, not after.
So two things. Number one, this advisory group has been going on for a year and a half. So they have had all the feedback. They have been able to share with us, been transparent in a lot of things regarding their operation. Okay. And yes, these two, they presented what they call a draft to the whole advisory group the month before, and then this month they've held a couple of sessions, like I said, one with Royal Oak Township and one with Pontiac. Each one, well, the one in Pontiac was at City Hall. The one in Royal Oak Township, I'm not sure exactly where it was, and so they have tried to get feedback up front, as opposed to after a final draft, was after the final document was written, that'll be turned into the state.
Well, that's good to know. And then once again, I'm going to reiterate that I hope the city of Detroit pays close attention to what we've discussed today and does likewise in the future, because the plan that they have in place is they could learn a couple of things from Oakland County about how to deal with their residents. Barry, thank you again so much for coming on and giving us an update and keeping us abreast. I hope that all the viewers, particularly the viewers in Oakland County, pay attention to this show. Thank you for joining us also, Rochelle. And in closing, I just want to say that this is a vitally important issue. Everyone's voice matters. Don't think because you're a resident, your voice doesn't matter. It does, even more so than the city. And with that, I want you to take care of each other, drink plenty of water, stay hydrated. It's hot outside, and remember to stay afloat. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.